All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, we'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJ Just J, here to talk about this person right here on my screen. Her name is Olajire-Aro. And the reason why she is a topic of our discussion today is because she's a math teacher, or was a math teacher, at Burke High School. Of course, one of her students ended up performing what? Sexual acts by threatening to dock her student's grade. I bullshit you not. You guys heard it right. She had to coerce her male student, who I believe was a junior or a senior, into giving her sex, and she threatened him by way of his grades. Now that's some cold shit right there. All right. Now that's according to a lawsuit that was filed in Charleston County Circuit Court on Thursday. Now the teacher, again, her full name is Jennifer Danielle Olajire-Aro, which is Olajire-Aro, age 27, of Devlin Road on Johns Island, and she was arrested back in December 2017 and charged with one count of sexual battery with a student age 16 or 17 years of age, according to court records. Right. She was charged with sexual battery. I think that's weird. I don't know if that's the same thing as rape or not, but sexual battery is an unwanted form of contact with an intimate part of the body that is made for purposes of sexual arousal, sexual gratification, or sexual abuse. Sexual battery may occur whether the victim is clothed or not. It is a crime which varies by state laws, so local laws should be consulted. Personally, I think that's straight up rape, period. If you guys know that if a man was in this position, what do you guys think would happen, right? Now, again, this boy was age 16 years old at the time. She taught pre-calculus and algebra and worked as a tennis coach at Burke and had no prior criminal record. The criminal court case is still pending, and I've got some extra things of this, guys. Y'all are going to be surprised to hear a couple of things coming up here in a moment. Now, the student was 17 at the time of the arrest, according to the paperwork Aro filed with the State Board of Education to surrender her educator certificate in January. Now, in the civil lawsuit filed Thursday, the student and his parent, identified only as John and Mary Doe, because they don't want to be identified, so that way you can't identify the kid either, which I like that. Thank you to them for protecting, boys and their rights. Accused the Charleston County School District of negligence and intentional infliction of emotional distress. They are seeking a jury trial and a judgment for actual and compensatory damages, including medical and healthcare expenses. I like that. Now, I think that they personally should go for the actual teacher, but I digress. Maybe that's the way that this thing works. Now, a school district spokesman said the district did not have a response and has not yet been served with regards to the lawsuit. The district is currently facing a firestorm of criticism for its handling of an unrelated case involving a former employee at Dunston Primary in North Charleston who allegedly accessed child pornography on a school-issued laptop computer. Now, defendant CCSD, who has a history of employees engaging in romantic relationships with students, I want you guys to take your pen, put it in that part of the story. We're going to come back to that. Take your pen and don't throw it around like I did, right? Take your pen, put it in that part of the story. We'll come back to it, all right? Now, let's keep going. They have a history of employees engaging in romantic relationships with students, committing sexual acts on students, storing and viewing pornography on CCSD issue computers, and the like, failed to properly inform or train Aro on the policies, and failed to properly supervise Aro to ensure she was not in violation of said policies, the lawsuit states. In August of 2017, while the student was enrolled in Aro's math class, she began flirting with him and having conversations about sex with him before, during, and after class, according to the lawsuit. Now, the complaint goes on to say that she, quote, encouraged and coerced John Doe, which is John Doe, that's who we're going to refer to the student as, to engage in sexual intercourse with her at the school, in her personal vehicle, and at her home, and on at least one occasion, in the presence of her 10-month-old baby. You guys heard that correct. At her house and in the presence of her 10-month-old baby. So if she has a 10-month-old baby, what else does that mean? Whose baby is it? Take another pen, put it in that part of the story. We'll come back to it. She also sent him inappropriate messages by way of the phone and social media text application, according to the complaint. And I'm gonna need this thing to get off my screen. Each time, plaintiff John Doe would dismiss Aro's advances and request to perform sexual intercourse with her, Aro would remind the plaintiff John Doe that she alone controlled what grade he would receive in her class. Think about that. Why are you showing his picture if he's a victim? Anonymous, that's not the victim. The male that's in that photo on my right-hand side of the screen, that's not the victim. That's a great catch, though. So I can actually appreciate what you said. That's actually not the victim, no. Now, what you guys need to be asking is, who is that man that I have in that photo? Let's go ahead and get to his photo. Let me go ahead and fast forward. That's what I want you guys to question. Who is that? Who is that guy on my screen? Who is this guy compared to her? Think about that. I'm going to tell you guys here in a minute. Let's keep going. Now, the student had said he began skipping math class to avoid his peers after the teacher made public, direct, and obvious advances. In December 2017, after the student resisted her sexual advances, Aro acted on her threat and changed the plaintiff John Doe's math grade from a 98, which was an A, to an 89, which is a B. Now that's egregious for real. And that's according to the lawsuit. Now the student told his mother about the alleged multiple instances of sexual intercourse after his final grade had been entered for the fall of 2017. So that was gonna follow him, and I hope that they can actually reverse that, to be real honest with you, because he deserves an A straight up and down, because that's some bull crap. Now Aro was arrested on December 19th, 3 days before school let out for the winter holiday. Now, where the safety, protection, and well-being for our students is paramount, acts such as these and others by employees under the direct supervision of CCSD are outrageous and must be regarded as atrocious and utterly intolerable. If the district won't fix the problem, the courts will, said the plaintiff's attorney, Mark A. Pieper, which is spelled P-E-P-E-R. So if you guys want to follow that. Now, Tom Dotson and Bodacious J, actually, Ariane Noble, that's a great guess. Toluvian got it. I Think I Can got it. Bodacious J and Tom Dotson got it. That's exactly who it is. So I'm getting ready to talk about that here in a moment. So here we go. Here's a couple things that I want you to know about this woman, this creature right here on my screen. There's a couple things that I want you guys to know real quick. First and foremost, her bond. She has a bond. Her bond is set at $100,000. Yes, she made a bond. $100,000 surety bond for Jennifer Aro, age 27, and she was charged with sexual battery for having a relationship with a 16-year-old student. But they're putting 17 years old, but I think that they said he was around 16 at the time. Yes, she actually was granted a freaking bond. Now, the Charleston Post and Courier reports that Aro made her first appearance in court on December 19th at the Charleston County Bond Court. There, her bond was set at $100,000. The Post and Courier report adds that Aro is being represented by lawyer J. Kevin Holmes. The victim's family was also in court for the hearing, and the suspect's family had been to fly in for the court date, but delays saw them miss it. Now, during the hearing, the Post and Courier reports that the victim's mother gave a tearful statement that read, "She's an awesome teacher, but she's a hellacious person for what she did. He is 17. 17. He's not an adult. He's emotionally not ready for this. I'm not ready for text, the phone calls, or the comments. Here's point number 2. Social media pages say that Aro is married and was expecting a baby in 2017. Can you guys quickly put that into context real quick? So the dude that was on my screen, let me get to that gentleman real quick. Let me put his face back up on here. So Anonymous, thank you for calling that out. But that actually wasn't the victim. This guy here is her husband. She's married. So the last name that she had, Olajire, is actually an African name. He actually also shares that name. And let me see if I have his name up here. I don't at the moment. But his name is Thaophik Olajire-Aro. Taofeek. That's his first name. And they both have the same last name. All right. Says that she married him in Dallas, Texas on February 8th of 2017. Although records indicate that the couple was married in Dallas County on August 3rd of 2014. So I don't know where the discrepancy comes in with that. We'll maybe visit that another time. I don't know if that's relevant or not. Now, the couple has a similar registry at The Bump, THEBUMP, where it says that their baby was due on February 2nd of 2017. So is it possibly the boy's baby? Does it not make you wonder? Does it not make you wonder? Let's do the math. Right, thank you. It should make you wonder. Because she was definitely having sex with the boy, right? Let's keep going. We got a little bit more to cover on this. Now, during her court appearance, Aro's lawyer said of the teacher, she's married. She has a 10-month-old baby. Now, keep in mind that they said that John Doe, the victim, was actually having sex with her or being forced to have sex with her, which to me, if you're making a person do something against their will, what is that called? If a male teacher were messing with a female student, what would they call that? What is the 4-letter word that they would call that? Please, somebody in the chat, let me know what that word is called. Because they're accusing her of sexual assault. If a man did it to a kid, female student, what would they call that? What's the 4-letter word? I need everybody in unison to say it in the chat. Everybody that's watching the show right now, say it in the chat. Let's keep going. I want you guys to know also what this guy on my screen does for a living. You guys would not guess. Her husband is a surgeon. He is a surgeon. Thaophik is a surgeon in South Carolina. He's listed as a general surgery doctor based at 171 Ashley Avenue in Charleston, South Carolina. Now, Dr. Olajire-Aro is a graduate of University of Texas Southwestern Medical Center and is a resident at a medical university of South Carolina, reports the Post and the Courier. Here's point number 4. Aro has qualified to teach special education. Now, this is where it gets tricky. Now, according to her LinkedIn page, Aro attended the University of Texas at Austin. Aro's profile on the Burke High School website says that she is a tennis coach at the school. While separate records show that Aro graduated from Western Governors University in Austin, Texas in October 2015, her qualification was in special education, right? These are the type of people that we have teaching children with special needs. We'll come back to that. A school spokesman told the Post and the Courier that Aro was in her first year of unemployment with the school district. After the allegations, Aro was placed on administrative leave. Here's point number 5, and the last point. A former Department of Education official says, You guys ready for this? A former Department of Education official says that abuse between female teachers and male students is on the rise. I'm going to tell you guys why I get a quote-unquote rise out of this, why I get upset by this. It's because of a friend. So shout out to my friend. She knows who she is. I love having debates with her. But this is exactly why I say what I say about women and their responsibilities. Because they're not held to the same standard as men are, as boys are, as we are. Their male counterparts, they're not held to the same standards. It would be considered rape if a man did it to a little girl. But because this grown-ass woman did it to a boy, a child, oh, it's not considered rape. She's not drugged through the coals over this, right? She changed this dude's grade that is going to affect him for the rest of his life if the state or the federal government, whoever it is that needs to fix it, doesn't correct that for him, okay? Now, again, female teachers and male students, abuse is on the rise, and they have a whole hour-and-a-half segment, so y'all make sure and check that out on ABC. I can't play it on here, but Slate reported that female educators make up 4% of convicted rapists in teacher/student scandals in 2006. While in 2016, former Department of Education Chief of Staff Terry Abbott wrote in the Washington Post that teacher/student scandals were on the rise. For example, in Kentucky in 2011, the state saw the number of teacher/student sexual relationships nearly double. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show you guys a quick video real quick and let you guys take a look at this. But before I do that, I'm gonna give you guys the fair usage, then I'll play the actual video. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
Today, a local high school teacher faced a bond court judge on charges she was having a sexual relationship with her student. A judge gave Burke High School math teacher Jennifer Aro a $100,000 bond. News 2's Rebecca Collette was in the courtroom and explains what happened.
Good evening. We learned from the court records today there were 3 encounters between the teacher and her student, who we've learned is a senior at Burke High School. Those encounters happened between November and December of this year, both at her home and what police described as other locations. And what we know about this teacher is she moved here in June with her husband, who is at MUSC working as a resident. We also learned today she has a 10-month-old daughter. The victim's mom says her son's life is forever changed.
17. He's not an adult. Emotionally, he's not ready for this.
The judge told her that she is not allowed to have any contact with the victim or his family. She is also not allowed to have any contact with her students or leave the state. In bond court tonight, Rebecca Collette, Count on 2.
As for the student told another teacher what was happening with Aro. That teacher reported the relationship to authorities, and according to court records, once confronted, Aro admitted to that relationship.
I'm gonna tell you guys another part about this that's so fucked up is this. This is the actual court document right here for the summons. But check this out though. That's not important as opposed to this point here. What do you think would happen to that 16 or 17-year-old boy if he would have gotten her pregnant? What if that's actually his kid? What if she gets pregnant off of that? Off of raping this boy? What do you think is going to happen to him after he turns 18 or 19 years old and after she gets out of jail? What do you think is going to happen to him? I need somebody to say it in the chat. What do you think is going to happen? And that's the bullshit that I want to continue to keep calling out, because I think that's egregious and it's ridiculous. Thank you, D to the J. Thank you. Thank you, West Coast Honey. Thank you, CRRC. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And a $100,000 bond for raping this boy, that's ridiculous. Now, lawyers are filing a lawsuit against the Charleston County School District, claiming that a former Burke High School teacher coerced the student to perform sexual acts for better grades. Now, the lawsuit centers around the former teacher and tennis coach, and this was all around December of this past year, okay? Now, a lot of this court stuff is going on now, which is why it's popping up now, okay? Now, Mark Pieper law firm, who's representing the student and the student's mother, said that the district failed to protect the student from a teacher who coerced the student in performing repeated sexual acts. Now, according to the lawyers, Aro lowered the grade of the student after resisting teachers' continued sexual advances. Let's keep going. Because he had a 98, which is an A, and changed his grade down to an 89, which is a B, which actually can even affect him financially. That's hard to hear. That really is. The suit also states that the district failed to perform an extensive background check on Aro and failed to properly inform or train Aro on the policies, including romantic relationships with students and committing sexual acts on students. Now, if I don't know if you guys heard that a minute ago when I said it, the reason why that part is important is because that might actually be a loophole for her to get out of this fucking, this hole that she's in. They didn't properly tell her that she couldn't have sex with students, right? Like you need to be told that. If you are a United States citizen, then you should know right from wrong. You should know legal from illegal. I don't think whether the school notified her or not should matter. But again, like I said, this is a woman. Let's keep going. Court records also state that Aro took the student to her home and other locations within Charleston for the purpose of having sexual intercourse with him. Attorneys say that the student was assigned to Aro's math class and that Aro began flirting with him and encouraging the student to engage in conversations about sex before, during, and after math class. Now, Aro used her age and position of authority to induce the plaintiff, whose name is John Doe, into believing that she was a caring, trusting, and thoughtful individual to advance her prurient sexual interest in plaintiff John Doe, the suit stated. Attorneys are asking for a trial by jury. We'll follow that story. I hope that they do. Again, thank you guys for coming through to the show. I just want you guys to understand that this is why I also believe that if you want to have equality, I think that you should also hold women just as accountable as you do the men, especially our teachers, because they're the ones that are training the students, and we trust that while those students are there, that these teachers aren't sexually abusing them. They're doing the right thing by them, and if they're not, then guys, I think that the best thing for us to do is, if you don't want to trust the school system, which I don't believe that we have a whole lot of reason to do, unless they just go to like the best schools, unless you're taking them to private school,